It's already clear to me the trade deadline deals will determine the NBA championship. I'll tell you which one is going to have the biggest impact.
You got to have some dogs in there, so I think they added a lot.
I'm Doug Kezirian, and this is Hard Pass. The NBA trade deadline has a different vibe every year. And this season, already I can tell it's going to prove to be the difference in a team winning a championship. This comes on the heels of McCain delivering clutch shots in the fourth quarter to help OKC beat Minnesota in a high-profile game.
He had the behind-the-backdrop pass to McCain for a three earlier in the game.
Perhaps he's the guy who swings a series for the Thunder and enables them to defend their title. But also other contenders added big pieces that are proven to be valuable already. None bigger than James Harden to Cleveland. Now, I'm not his biggest fan, largely because I've seen him come up short way too often in the playoffs. But perhaps he's the missing piece to help Donovan Mitchell get over the hump.
His gravity, too. You know, there's certain times closing games, it's like we've both been blitzed, right? And, you know, not necessarily having another guy like each other on the floor. Now we, going out there, and if you blitz him, you leave me open and vice versa.
We know the playoff history, and it's not pretty. But the upside is there, especially Harden's ability to take over a game and make those around him better.
The thing that stands out the most, I think, is his passing ability, his IQ, what he's been able to do for us as a group. And obviously, Jared Allen has received a lot of that from him. And also what he sees on both ends of the floor. He's coming in the huddles, communicating and talking. And that's a big time boost for us. Guy who's been in the league 17 years, Hall of Famer.
Cleveland has suffered some tough losses since the trade, but for the most part, this team seems to have thrived and maybe figured out a key recipe for success.
It's the question everybody asks, are we going to coexist? What they're going to do? Like, I've never played with a guy like James Harden, right? Like, I've never had a guy like that on my team, and we're not here to figure out, like, who's bigger, better, whatever. This is, like, how are we going to win? And I think having that relationship, one helps, but also, two, it speaks to the type of people that him and I are, right? Like, we're trying to figure out what's right. And not about who's right, not about what it is, this is like, let's go out there. And for him to go out there and say, like, he's here to help me, like, that's huge.
Both entities have had massive playoff failures. In James Harden's case, historic playoff failures. And just like the Cavs are trying to turn around, how people think of them come playoff time, post-LeBron, so is James Harden. And maybe together, as a part of the Cavs, that'll be the perfect combo to make it work. And maybe it won't, but we shall see.
But it goes beyond Harden. The Cavs also picked up a couple key reserves from the Sacramento Kings.
Those pickups that they got from from Sac as well.
Yes.
Schroeder, a former teammate of mine, that's going to compete every single night. And Keon Ellis, guy who's going to compete, make shots. Like, those guys are going to be, I think, really, really good for their teams, right?
Yeah.
Especially in the East, where it's a lot of bulk, a lot of, you got to have some dogs in there. So I think they added a lot.
Now, personally, I'm not sold on Schroeder. I think he's lost some steps at this stage of his career. But yes, he's experienced. He sometimes, though, causes problems trying to do too much. But hey, LeBron and Nash approve, so who am I to disagree? Obviously, the big piece was Harden in this Cavs mix. In order to make that happen, Cleveland had to part ways with Darius Garland to the Clippers, who definitely shook up their roster. Ben Mathurin also comes over from Indiana and gives the Clips some much-needed scoring punch and toughness.
In Indiana, he was aggressive, but over here, like T. Lue and everybody just letting him rock out, so he's going to do his thing. So I really like it. I like him being aggressive for us, especially off the bench. And when me, him, and Wire out there, like, just go. Like, I'm looking for kick-aheads to him so he gets to the rim, gets to the foul line. That's what gets him going. That's when the three ball starts flowing, the midi starts going. And Ben's going to be big, which we really need him to go be big.
Garland clearly loves playing with Mathurin, and having watched the Clips a lot lately, they're huge together when Kawhi is off the floor. Mathurin leads the NBA in bench scoring since the trade, about 17 points per. And their toughness is a big asset to any team trying to make a playoff run.
I didn't know he was that creative with the ball in his hand, especially like getting to the line. He's going to make his way to the rim by any means necessary, which is, you really need that on teams like that, like this.
And let's call another acquisition health, in that come playoff time, it will feel like some potential contenders added pieces out of nowhere. For example, for the most part, the Miami Heat have been underachievers, banged up all year, but injuries are starting to turn the corner. Think about them at full strength with guys like Tyler Hero, Norm Powell, Andrew Wiggins, alongside the ultimate Swiss Army knife in Bam Adebayo.
Even at this pace, one thing that keeps him good is that he's able to get back, guard in transition, guard earlier, and also rim protect and have a dominant man presence in an up and down finesse game that they're trying to run.
They drive me nuts. I call them the zombie heat. They just, every time you think they're dead, they climb out of their grave and they start doing this and walking around. Now they're doing it again. You don't want to see those teams in a 6. I'd rather see Minnesota than freaking Miami at this point. And I'm shocked by that. I thought Minnesota was a stealth contender.
Minnesota is way too inconsistent for me. I've discussed the T-Wolves ad nauseum. Maybe the Cavs are too, but they also just brought back Max Strus, who missed the first 67 games with a broken foot.
Excuse my language, but I worked my ass off. It was, damn, I didn't want to do this.
I see it coming.
Why'd you have to do that, man? No, it was a long road, but I only know one way to work, and that's as hard as possible.
I feel like Strus, it's interesting. I know we know of him as a shooter, but like he was the dog on that team, the guy that's going to stick his nose in there every night, and I think they missed that a little bit personality-wise. So, yeah, I think that's a difference maker for them.
The Atlanta Hawks restructured their organization at the trade deadline, sending away Trae Young, and now they're making some noise on the court. Remember, they did make the Eastern Conference Finals with Young, so to be fair, but I kind of just think that was fluky. This team, and with Kuminga when he's healthy, I think is really interesting if they make the postseason. And in Boston, Nikola Vucevic could be a valuable piece once he returns from injury, now that they've also gotten Jason Tatum back from injury. To me, they're the team to beat in the East. Let's wrap some things up with a heat check, and this was some interesting noise around social media after Jared McCain was making those big shots. John Krasinski, who covers the Timberwolves, so the team that the Thunder were playing, the heist of Jared McCain from Philly will be studied in textbooks. Full court pass. Daryl Morey on trading Jared McCain. Quote, I'm quite confident we were selling high on Jared McCain. Keep that in mind. And then Hoops reference, Jared McCain trusted to be in this closing lineup of the defending champions, hitting clutch shots and holding his own on defense. But Nick Nurse refused to let him play more than 5 minutes per game all year long. God, the Sixers are really the worst run franchise in the NBA. I think that's a little extreme. The Thunder are loaded, and obviously Sam Presti knows how to find talent. So maybe this is what it looks like. But sometimes guys play along with some great team. They're going to hit certain shots. We shall see if McCain is really that valuable. A.J. Mitchell's been great during the regular season too. Perhaps it's just the Thunder system, or somehow Nick Nurse didn't sniff out the talent when he had him in Philly. We shall see. Typically, Daryl Morey knows what he's doing, though, so I'm reluctant to mock him after just one performance from McCain, although it was great to see him in that fourth quarter. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of Hard Pass. Please join the conversation. Let us know your thoughts on these deadline deals. Which one do you think is going to have the biggest impact? Do you think Harden can finally get over the hump now that he's on the Cavs playing alongside Donovan Mitchell? Is that going to be the key ingredient for Harden to finally exercise some playoff demons? Definitely weigh in, like and subscribe to the show, and also hype.